Hello everyone, this is a quick look at the Iron Man Hulkbuster vs. A.I.M Agent. It is set 76164 with 456 pieces. It retails for around $30 to maybe even $40 in the US. I was definitely happy to pick this set up, and it is based off the new game, which is based off the comics, the actual Marvel comics. So this is not an actual movie-verse set, but we're going to get into the set first and take a look at the minifigures, and then we'll wrap up this video. So without further ado, I do want to say, subscribe, drop a like if you haven't, and let's get into it. So starting off with the set itself, I think it's a good Hulkbuster. I mean, obviously I have some flaws with it, and I also have definitely a lot of good things about it that I enjoy. So I'm going to take you through play features, articulation, and show you all the details, and then we're going to get into my thoughts about it. So on the shoulder here, you have this little cannon thing that can rotate all the way around. You have a little chair that a minifigure can sit in. It gets a little tough over here with this little not part of the shoulder pad that sticks out. You can kind of rotate it down, and it still gets a little iffy there, but you can actually take the whole thing off if you wanted to have it as a separate assembly. Got a little chair for a minifigure to sit in there, and again, those spring-loaded shooters that you just press the tail down and they go flying, but they do give you an extra in case you lose one, as I just showed. But you can put that on either shoulder. You have these little jumper plates on the inside of each circle that you can actually place this on. I personally am going to be leaving this off. I just don't like how it looks. It just kind of looks out of place. But again, you can, as I said, put it on whatever shoulder you would like. Just rotate this back up. And I think they could have done without it. I mean, I can show you what a minifigure looks inside. Just got a little chair right here on where he will sit. That's what a minifigure looks like inside. This is like the little screen console and where they can target things. And I think, you know, as a side build, it works pretty good if this was something that they could fly in. But as far as it being on the shoulder, I don't really know. But yeah, so that's pretty much all for the shoulder cannon. Now getting into the main set, you just got the little triangle arc piece instead of the normal circle, and I could bring you in for a closer look. So there's a better look at the arc reactor itself, and that is actually one whole piece right there, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Lifting up the head, you could see it's got a very nice circular capsule and where the figure will sit, and you can't really see it, but the figure will sit underneath there. There's a little console that we'll take a better look at in a minute, but this is the whole piece. It's definitely cool. You just can take this little slope off, and it's just one piece, but I think it works. I think it definitely looks cool. It's cool to get a different type of Hulkbuster with an actual triangle arc instead of the normal circular arcs that Iron Man always had. And as I said, a nice circular capsule using these kind of arch pieces used for windshields. I definitely think that looks great. I love the design. Spinning it around to the back, we'll take a closer look at that in a minute, but I'm just going to rotate this down so I can give you guys a better look at that console. It seems to have an Iron Man mask base printed on there. If it's just telling whoever's in it the vitals of the actual suit that they're wearing inside of the Hulkbuster, I'm not exactly sure. And then you have a little circle here with an arrow. Maybe it'll be targeting something, but I can lift this back up for you guys so you can get a nice look at that beautiful back. I definitely think that they did a great job with it. They have these two little knobs here. These aren't actual play feature knobs, thankfully. They're actually supposed to be part, and I think the back looks really nice. I think it looks accurate and whatnot. You have the Nexonite shields there for some more armor. And yeah, that really is all for the back. These can be angled side to side. You can twirl those if you want, side to side again on either side. Nothing clips onto here, but you can clip something on if you would like. And that's really all for the torso. Getting into how the arms look, I love the arms. I think they look very, very nice. You have some nice big panels here to kind of just bulk up the fist there. And so you can get a better look at the fingers. They all will rotate out. They only give 4, but I still think that that's better than 3. That's always been an issue with me with mechs, is only like, 4 or 3 fingers, but it definitely looks cool. Underneath, you can see it's got the arc reactor blast part, or the actual cannon that the Hulkbuster uses to do its blast. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. Leave down in the comment section down below what you think it's called. But as I said, 4 fingers with those little arch pieces. Think they definitely look nice, and I'm glad to actually see that this cannon or a blaster is not actually printed on, or just one of those cylinder pieces that you stick on to smooth out the bottom of builds. That is actually on one of those wrench pieces that you can actually angle. So just the evolution of how they make the Hulkbusters, I think, looks very good. And you can actually even get these into somewhat of a fist, which I think is definitely awesome. A lot of stickers in this set. The only thing that was a print was the actual head. Everything else was a sticker, or excuse me, the arc reactor was actually print as well as the head. Everything else was stickers, so you have a sticker there for some more design. Getting into more of those joints. Getting over here to the actual shoulder pad. This can be angled ever so slightly this way and then just a little bit that way. I personally will just leave them down just so it bulks up the shoulders just a little bit. You can rotate it to kind of fill it in a little bit more. And same identical arm on this side with the nice panel there. And you can, as I said, on either side, rotate the fingers up, and then you have that nice little cannon there. And you can rotate the shoulder pad ever so slightly. It's just on one of those clip pieces, clipped onto one of those bars. And I can zoom back out for you guys to get a better look. So as I said, I definitely like the build. I think that it looks great, but again, getting into articulation now, bringing them in closer, there is some waist rotation, a full 360 all around, so I definitely think that that's great. I think articulation on this set is definitely good for playability. For the legs, you do get a little bit of articulation in the foot. You got some little ankle rotation there. As far as up and down, just a little bit, and you can rotate these toes or angle them up and down, and this little panel over here as well as the knee pads, which I think is definitely pretty cool. And the legs are on ratchet joints, so those are definitely going to be firm if you want to display this guy and get him into poses. I prefer ratchet joints when it comes to the main section, such as where the arms connect into the torso and where the legs connect into the torso, instead of ball joints, because ball joints just tend to do splits sometimes if they get too loose. But again, ratchet joints are definitely good. You can get the leg all the way out there. If I rotate the arms up, you can get it even higher. As far as rotating out this way, you can't, with that's just a type of joint, but you can get it back and forward. It's identical in articulation to this leg. Now, as far as the arms go, as I said, the shoulder pads can angle. If you angle the shoulder pads up, let me just get up higher for you guys. As I said, if you angle the shoulder pads up, you can get almost the arm completely up. It can't go up any further, but then you can bring that down. And then as far as you have a little bit of elbow bend, but as I said, as far as the hand goes, definitely good articulation there. About a 90 degrees angle right there, but you can't actually get it up any higher. And then it can go all the way back there. If the arm was broken, I'm not exactly sure why you would put it back there, but as I said, fingers, nice articulation there. So playability wise and articulation wise, this is definitely an awesome set to get. Now, getting into the minor details, as I said, I think the arms look very good, but rotating them up, those legs, I absolutely love what they did with the legs right there. I think that they did a great job. I could bring you in closer there. Just all the little designs, and as far as build wise, it was an enjoyable build, but it was very, not difficult, but it was interesting to see how they designed these legs. It was fun to kind of design these legs, or to build, I should say, not design. You have these little golden cones on the back that can be rotated. I don't know if those are boosters or whatever, but they can be angled up and down. They can't go side to side though, but I just love how beefy and how technical these legs look. It looks like what it should in a mech, and as I said, you can angle these up. So I love how those look. I mean, again, from the front, it doesn't look too big and beefy. It kind of looks thin, but if you get a view from the side, you can just see how thick and how really well designed those legs are. So when I had actually seen that in person, I thought that it was very good, and I think that completes it for the torso. Now we have to talk about the thing I've been avoiding through this whole set review so far, the head. Now, I think I wasn't going to pick this set up just because of that. I thought that this was ridiculous. I've heard reviewers and other people complain about the Pancake Head, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me put him in a straight pose and close it up. You could see that you can almost the head almost disappears, the head printing, because it is so flat. I can actually take this off to show you what this is. It is one of those very, very flat dome pieces that they use for ships, and I'm not exactly sure why they went with this, although it is kind of accurate to the actual comic books on what the Hulkbuster looked like and kind of like the game. I just think in a Lego form, it's just not working. It's just like this print is stretched so much around this dome piece. It's just not working. It is connected to those little droid arms on the top there, so those can be angled any which way you would like, and they just clip in very simply, and then it'll cover the whole capsule part very nice, so everything's completely closed up. There are no gaps or anything, as I said, but it's such a good build. I think that it's so good for playability, and it's so good as far as the legs and the arms and the back. It's just that one piece, I wouldn't say ruined, but I just think they could have done a better job. But overall, as I said, build-wise and playability-wise, it is definitely a good mech and Hulkbuster, and that really completes it for the set. Now let's move on to the minifigs. So first off, I'm going to be starting off with, obviously, the man himself, Iron Man. Now, this is a suit modeled off the actual game, the new Marvel game. I personally don't play it, so I've seen trailers, so I think that it looks pretty accurate to the actual game, but getting in closer for a better look, you can see it is the one-piece helmet, not the actual mask that flips up, so it is all one piece there. I personally don't like the one-piece helmets, but actually seeing it in person, I think the printing looks accurate, definitely, to the game, but pretty nice as well. I mean, I just don't like the helmet design itself, but hey, it's okay. I'll probably switch it out eventually, but it's got the regular Tony Stark face, the newer one from the Infinity War and Endgame sets. Rotating him around, you can see he's still got the printed face for the actual hub, or like the screen that comes up in the helmet, so I definitely think that that's always a cool face to actually get. Now, this suit, I gotta say, is definitely one of the best, if not the best, in my personal collection that I've ever seen. I think that it looks extremely detailed as far as the leg printing there, the circular arc piece. You can see it's got some really, really nice printing, all continuing as well on the back. You can see it's got some really nice light red highlights over the dark red, silvery, and gold printing in there. Definitely just makes the figure and looks much, much better. You can actually see it's got some toe printing. I can actually bring the figure in closer there. You can see it's got some nice printing on either of the boots or the toe. No side or arm printing, but still, for a regular figure in a $30 to $40 set, I think that's a very, very nicely printed and designed Iron Man figure. And he does not come with any Power Blast pieces or any other weapons, because he just will use his blasts from his hands. And repulsors, I just remembered what those were. So on the Hulkbuster, the things that come out of the hands are repulsors. Man, I was blanking on that word, but as I said, he'll just use his repulsors as weapons, so I don't think they should have included any. And aside from that, let's move on to the next fig. Next up is Rescue, or Pepper Potts, in her Rescue armor, and I really like this design of Rescue. Now, the one we got for the movieverse was accurate to the movieverse, being kind of purple and blue, but this is accurate to the comics, which I definitely think looks great. It is the non-flip-up mask, as I like to call it. It is just a one-piece mask, but in a nice chrome silver, which definitely looks really good, and a bright red. I personally don't like the bright red, but it is kind of accurate to the comics as well as to the game, so I appreciate that. But as I said, nice silver printing. It's got the girl Pepper Potts face, which I definitely think looks cool. The newer one, not the ones from the Malibu Mansion attack set, but again, that's her mad face or angry face, and then that's her more calm, relaxed, or happy face. And she's got the really, really nice detailed torso, as well as the larger arc piece that is white, not blue, as the newer ones were starting to have a nice trend of putting them a little bit more bluer than just the regular white, but you can see nice detailing all the way down there, as you have the silver highlights on the side of where the abs would be, and then you have, again, nice leg printing, just continuing that nice silver detail, as well as some toe printing for the boots, just like on the other fig there. And again, nice printing on the back. Thankfully, they don't come with any assemblies to actually cover up any of the printing on the back of these figs, which I appreciate. I know you could just take them off, but still, I'm glad that they left that printing exposed. Now, she does actually come with Power Blast pieces. If you don't know how those work, you can just lift the figure's arm up, and you can see you got that gap there, and you could just press down on the tail, and they're supposed to go flying. Now that wasn't too good, but it's the same on either side. I think they look cool for what they are. You can imagine them not actually being like the actual repulsor blasts, or it could be actual shields, energy shields or whatever, but I think it's definitely a cool rescue. And now let's move on to the A.I.M figures. First, we're going to be starting off with the flying A.I.M figure, as I like to call him, because he's actually my favorite. I really like the design of the backpack as well as the figure. We'll get to that in a minute. But you can see he's got these two assemblies on the back that can actually be rotated up to reveal a nice sticker of A.I.M right there. I think that it all matches. He's done in a nice gunmetal gray as well as these cylinders here. So I definitely think that that looks cool. So it is meant for him to actually fly, or you can actually angle them this way to be like guns or missiles, and they are just those little flick fire missiles, so you can flick them or push them and they will actually shoot out. Not too well as the spring loaded or stud shooters, but you can see that's a better look on what they look like, and that's one cylinder without them. I think leaving them in there definitely makes it look a little bit more complete booster wise, but you can actually take that backpack off, and I'll show you what that looks like. Here's a better look at what that backpack looks like. It's on one of these new backpack scenes that are new backpack molds that I haven't seen before, to be honest. I personally don't have any of those, but again, you can rotate those a full 360 degrees on either side, so definitely think that that is cool. And it's just got one of those neck braces that you put onto the back. As far as the figure, he's got a nice gunmetal gray helmet there and some nice printing for the goggles, and then he's got the actual like breathing mask that I can rotate to the back to give you a better look at the actual printed breathing mask. But aside from that, he's overall a pretty plain figure. He's got some nice printing for the actual A.I.M vest. Continuing on to the back, no printing on the legs sadly, but they are a nice gunmetal gray, and then he's got one of those black trank guns that tranquilizer guns that came in the Jurassic World sets, as well as a gunmetal gray lightsaber piece at the top for a scope. But I think it's an overall very cool figure, and I think the backpack is a cool inclusion. And now let's move on to the last figure. The last figure is yet again another A.I.M agent, but just a little bit different. I'm going to move his very odd weapon out of the way. Again, I've never played the game, so I'm not exactly sure what weapon he's supposed to have. Same printing as far as I can tell. No printing on the arms or legs, and then he's got some nice printing on the back there. Continuing on with that A.I.M vest that he has. He does have these nice, I don't know if they're X-ray night vision goggles, but it definitely is cool. They actually clip onto another gunmetal gray helmet, and then the same facial print there. And aside from that, he's a plain figure showing off his weapon now. I think it's really cool. Taking this off, it's got this nice suppressor. I believe that's what it is. I've never seen these pieces before. They look almost like the battleship pegs, for those of you who have played that game, and it's just clipped onto one of those alien guns with the double barrel, as well as connected by a gunmetal gray lightsaber piece. They also have a gunmetal gray lightsaber piece clipped onto one of those hand or wrench pieces, and then they clip onto the other lightsaber piece. I'm not exactly sure what that is supposed to be. It's a very odd looking weapon, but I could show you what that looks like in a minifigure's hand. I personally lift it up to the side, that way it's just a little bit easier to actually display the figure. Overall, it's a pretty nice A.I.M figure, and now let's move back to the regular studio where we'll wrap up this set review. And so that is my look at the new Iron Man Hulkbuster vs. A.I.M Agent set 76164, 456 pieces, and again retails for around $30 to $40 in the US. I think it's a great set. The figures, I think, are great. I personally am probably going to be taking apart the A.I.M figures to build some more custom figs, but I'm definitely going to save that backpack because, I don't know, I know it's simple, but I just really like how that looks. Nice to get 2 more Iron Man suits. Nice to get another Hulkbuster. I personally, sadly, don't have an actual official Lego Hulkbuster because all my other Hulkbusters are customized to actually compare this to, but it is a good size, as you can see, in comparison to my hand and to minifigure scale. I definitely recommend to get it. It's a fun fun build. It was an enjoyable build itself. It's fun to mess around with and to pose and play with. As far as the head, if you're still iffy about that, you can always just replace it with another one. I personally am going to be replacing it with one of these, even though these are too small. I'm probably going to modify the chest just a little bit. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate the figures. I think they're fine. I think that the AIM agents could have benefited from some leg printing, but the overall set itself, I'm going to rate a solid 8.5, and the only reason for that is that I think it's a great set, but it's just that head. I wish they had gone with a different head for that. Otherwise, it would have been a 10 in my book. But definitely thank you all guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found this helpful. If you did, leave it down in the comment section down below. And if you're watching my videos and not subscribed, I do encourage you to do so because it helped the channel a lot. And remember, you can never have too much bricks. See you in the next video, and keep building. Bye for now.